Make sure y'all stay on point with
The Puncher's Point. What is good, y'all? Welcome back to The Puncher's Point. We got another fight announcement for y'all. And look, here's what I'm going to say before we get into it, okay? Women's boxing, I mean, they've been the standard as to making the best fights happen. I mean, there's a reason why so many women boxers are undisputed, multiple time undisputed. Now, obviously, a lot of people are going to say the fighters as well. There's not many women fighters as there are men, but overall, you can't deny that the best fight the best. And this is what we're getting right here. Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor 3. And that is going to be taking place in Madison Square Garden, the same exact place where that first fight happened, where Katie Taylor defeated Amanda Serrano by split decision. Now, we can go all the way back to that fight, and then we can fast forward a little bit to when they had their rematch and Katie Taylor won that fight. Both fights controversial. You know, a lot of people believe that Amanda Serrano won both of those fights, but here they are doing it a third time. Now, here's the thing. I have mixed reactions about this fight. One part of me loves it and one part of me hates it. I'm gonna explain why. But I do want to say this is going to be under MVP Promotions. They're the ones that announced this, and this is going to be an all women's boxing card. And the other fights on this card, they haven't been announced yet, but I'm hoping that we get to see a women's super card. I'm hoping that we get to see so many title fights. I mean, overall, like there's Shadeja Green, there's Franchon Cruz. I'm hoping that they can maybe get like Terry Harper versus Lauren Price on there. Not excuse me, not Terry Harper, excuse me, Natasha Jonas versus Lauren Price on there. I'm hoping that we get to see some of these great women fights. You know, who knows who else is going to be on this card? That's going to be all announced later on down the line. But let's talk about this fight right here. I'm gonna start with the reason why I like this fight. So the reason why I like this fight is because every single time these two step into the ring, they're always going to deliver. It does not matter. They're always going to give us a great fight. This is the greatest rivalry in women's boxing. It's not even close. I am. Put it this way: I challenge y'all to name a better rivalry in boxing besides these two. I challenge y'all because even though Katie Taylor won both fights, again, controversial results, and every single time both of these women brought it. It wasn't like one was carrying the other or one was dominating the other. They have their moments against each other. Every single fight they deliver. So when I go back and I look at those two fights, of course I want to see it a third time. They stole the show on the Jake Paul Mike Tyson card. They stole the show. Everybody was saying it. The women were the best part of that card. Now some of y'all are gonna argue Mario Barrios versus Ramos. That's neither here or there. The truth is the co-main event was better than the main event that night. And unfortunately, this fight is going to be happening on Netflix. And that's one thing I don't like about this fight because we all know what happened last time with Netflix. Now, a part of that is because I do believe everybody was tuning in to watch Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. So a lot of the people coming in to watch that fight really started to get into lag. I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue like it was before. And if there are, I think they're going to be minuscule. And I'm hoping that they're minuscule, knock on wood. But overall, I'm not the biggest fan that this is happening on Netflix. I would have rather have it happen on a pay-per-view or like a DAZN, someplace where you can get a relatively secure network or you can watch the fight without it lagging. Now, DAZN has had its issues as well recently. So overall, you know, you got to take the good with the bad. But the biggest reason why I don't want to see this fight is because we're gonna get a great fight, but at the end of the day, the result it isn't gonna help nobody. So what I mean by that is yes, the undisputed super lightweight championships are on the line. Obviously, Amanda Serrano, she beats Katie Taylor, then she obviously establishes her legacy. But here's what I'm looking at. Suppose Amanda Serrano goes in there and beats Katie Taylor. She finally gets her win against her. We're just gonna sit here and act like Katie Taylor's not gonna want a rematch. Now, let's suppose Katie Taylor wins a third time. Then all of a sudden, we'll just be saying, well, what did we go through this whole process for? Why are we watching this fight a third time when in reality, the two times that it happened, they gave the fight to Katie Taylor. Now, this fight's a little bit different. It's under MVP Promotions, which I think that means that Amanda Serrano, in a way, is the A side. That doesn't mean she makes more, in my opinion. It just means she's the A side. It's under her promotional brand. And they're announcing this. This is on their card. So maybe the odds will be more in favor of Amanda Serrano this time. Who knows? But overall, whatever the result is, I don't think it's going to justify anything. I really don't. If Amanda Serrano, the best thing that could happen in this fight is they fight a third time, Amanda Serrano wins, and then after that they just close it out right there. But these two, I mean, they've had such an amazing rivalry. Now, obviously, again, going back to the controversy with the two results, obviously there was the Katie Taylor headbutts. All of that's got to be resolved. They got to figure out a way to make sure that all those things don't happen again. Better judging, better reffing, all that type of stuff. They got to make sure that they put those factors into play. I just hope that we get to see this fight. I just hope that both of these women bring their A game, which no doubt in my mind they will. But at the same time, me personally, I want to see a great fight. And we're going to see a great fight. But I just don't want this to keep on continuing longer and longer and longer than what it needs to be. The first fight, it was very exciting. You had two of the greatest boxers in women's boxing history go at it. The second fight, it had a lot of anticipation. I mean, they were going to be in AT&T Stadium. 50 million people watched. But then they gave the decision to Katie Taylor. Now this third time, I don't really see the hype. I don't see the hype in this fight. I don't see the build up being anything special because I've already seen it twice. The third time it's going to be a great fight, but at the same time, how do I know it's not going to be the same result as last time? How do I know that this fight is going to be something big for women's boxing? Last but not least, I don't even know what to expect in the sense of how's this going to benefit either fighter? Yes, obviously Serrano's legacy gets cemented. If Katie Taylor can dominate or convincingly beat Amanda Serrano, then yeah, obviously that helps Katie Taylor as well. But besides that, I just don't see why we're running this back a third time. There's so many women's boxers they could be fighting, and the truth is, like when you go down to it, when you go through it all, I mean, they can make better fights, honestly. Amanda Serrano, Alicia Baumgartner down the line, The, the truth is, there's good fights that they can make, and women's boxing has some super fights that they can make. It's just they're not on a table, or it's just different weight classes. You got to make that adjustment, everything like that. But the truth is, because there's not as many women boxers as there are men, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it becomes an issue. And so we got to go look at that and we got to realize that you got these up and comers coming like Caroline Dubois, Gabrielle Fundora, Sky Nicholson. We got all of these up and coming women fighters coming in. Then you got the ones who are champions, but they're kind of on that B level. Terry Harper, Natasha Jonas, Lauren Price, Michaela Mayer, Sandy Ryan. We got those women as well. But then you have the big dogs like Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, Clarissa Shields, Alicia Baumgartner, the ones who truly carry this sport. And that's the truth. That's the honest truth. It's a sense of there's some underrated fights to make in women's boxing, and we keep circling around this one. And it's a great fight. Don't get me wrong. It really is. It's going to deliver. Trust me when I tell you. But the problem is, it just keeps on circling around this fight. I don't want to see Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano 4. I don't want to see, I don't want to keep seeing this same fight play out. As great as it is, I don't want to keep seeing it play out. I want something new. I want something more fresh. This is not fresh. And that's why, me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of this fight. But I know for a fact that if you put these two together and they go and fight, I know for a fact that you're going to get a good fight between these two. And that's all I can ask for as a boxing fan is just make it a great fight. If they can make it a great fight, then I'm gonna be like, all right, cool. But I just need it to end right here. That's it. I just want this fight to end right here. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. Now, if you're asking me who would I like to see on this card besides them, like obviously for like the co-main event and the undercard, I want to see Lauren Price versus Natasha Jonas as the co-main event. I mean, those two have done a lot of trash talk, and I believe when they step into the ring, it's going to be great. Michaela Mayer, Sandy Ryan. I would like to see that again. You push Deja Green on that card, Franchon Cruz. There's some good fighters that you can put onto this card. And for me, I believe the co-main. I just want it to be Natasha Jonas versus Lauren Price. I want to see that fight. They've been doing a little bit of trash talking. They've been talking back and forth. I just want to see that fight. I think it's a very good fight. I think they both got good skills. I think it's an unpredictable fight. That's the fight I would like to see. Obviously, we're not going to get the big names like Alicia Baumgartner. We're not going to get Clarissa Shields on there. They get their own card, but I wouldn't mind seeing like Caroline Dubois in there. I wouldn't mind seeing Gabriela Fondora. You have a chance to make a super card for women's boxing. And I believe if MVP Promotions makes the right fights and they put the right fights on this card, women's boxing is going to go to a whole nother level with these two. Now, the one thing I want, and again, unfortunately, I believe this one's only going to be for 10 rounds. I want 12. I want to see these two fight for 12 rounds. That's what I want to see. I want to see Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor fight for 12 rounds. And if you ask both of them, I believe they would want to fight for 12 rounds, because because again, the way they are building up this sport, it's absolutely incredible. And I know that they want to do it just like the men do. But unfortunately, this is 10 2-minute rounds. Again, Undisputed Super Lightweight Championship is on the line. Maybe Chantel Cameron could be on this card. Who knows? But overall, if they have the opportunity to build a women's boxing supercard and it delivers the way I believe it can deliver, we're going to be in for a great night, honestly. And women's boxing is going to skyrocket because I do believe there are fights in women's boxing that are so underrated that can be made. And because of like external factors, because of other variables, it's just not being made. But once those fights get made, women's boxing is going to take off. And I believe this card is the start to that. If we can see some of these great fights on this card, it will be the start to making some greater fights happen. And then overall, we're just gonna have to see these two warriors go at it. Amanda Serrano, she needs redemption. That's obviously the reason why she's taking this third fight. Katie Taylor, she's probably tired of hearing the criticism. She's probably tired of hearing the fact that she lost two fights, that people think she lost the two fights, and I think this is her chance to basically solidify that she is one of the best, if not the best, women's boxers in today. That's just the honest truth. And overall, I believe, even though the Undisputed Championship is on the line, I believe that this is more about moral victories for both of them. Can Amanda Serrano get past Katie Taylor, the one person that she hasn't been able to get past? And can Katie Taylor prove to all the critics, to all the haters, to all the people that believe she lost those two fights, that she is actually better than Amanda Serrano? So both of these women got something to prove. And that's why I think it's going to be a great fight. I think both of them are going to go in there. They're going to give great fights. I expect it to be just as good as the first and second, if not better. And we're just going to have to see July 11th, Madison Square Garden. They are going to run it back in the same place that they fought the very first time. Madison Square Garden is going to be part of an all-women's boxing card, MVP Promotions on Netflix. So, you know what? July 11th, make sure y'all go definitely check that out, okay? You're watching two of the greatest women's boxers to ever step foot in the ring. So definitely go check out that fight. And overall, make sure y'all continue to tune in to the Puncher's Point. Make sure y'all tune into the YouTube videos. I know some of these fight announcements are a little bit late. I do apologize. We're catching up. We're catching up on the schedule, so don't you guys worry. We're going to be back with some great news right on time. So with that being said, make sure y'all continue to tune into the content. And last but not least, make sure y'all stay on point with the Puncher's Point.